Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today, from what I understand, I'm going on like a boat tour thing, and then I may be going to a beach. So yeah, I'm sorry I didn't do the Earn to Die video yesterday. I just didn't have time. I got home really late and then just didn't have time for it. So yeah, I'll see you guys later when we get there. So I'm going to pause the recording and I'll see you guys there. Okay, we are here at Lou Garden in Florida, and I'm going to do a little YouTube video on that. I'm not sure if you guys actually want to see that or not, but I'm going to do a little run through, and I'm going to do that in fast motion. So yeah, I'm going to do a quick little run through, and yeah.
There may be more here that we'll see.
Oh, look at these huge palms. This kind of material that's nice up there. Oh, Evan, here. There's a little lizard on the tree. Come over here.
There's these little lizards all over.
He's on the, see where the three trees are?
It's a little lizard. He's running up a tree. So cute. Anyway, back to fast motion.
It's crazy. It's red, and then it has yellow around that. It comes out the side. Wait, no, that's not a side. To the right.
Ton of other people here, at least, taking selfies. Yep.
Look at these mother-in-laws.
It's banana. These are banana trees.
Ooh, cool.
Oh, wait, this is where I went.
Anyway, I'm going to pause the recording until there's something else cool here, and I'll be back in a bit.
Mosquito?
There's a lizard on the cactus.
Yep, this is the right way. It goes in a
So
little.
lizard on the cactus. Be back in a bit. There's an owl. Kind of see him there. Just kind of hard to see, but it's right there. Yeah.
Water
A couple
lilies.
of turtles.
It looks like they're getting ready to bloom, but not quite.
Turtles are not going underwater, but
Yeah.
See if I can
That
capture
turtle
one.
is going under the lily pads.
Yep. I don't think you can see him anymore, but there's a turtle right there.
There was a turtle. There's a turtle right here. Right here. He's underneath.
Oh, look, there's another turtle. There's another turtle over here.
Yeah, there's a lot of turtles in here, aren't there? It's the third one we've seen.
Get a pet turtle from in here.
Yeah. Put them in our carry-on. Oh, here these guys are meeting up.
Turtle traffic.
That's it.
So sad to see all the trash in there.
Yeah.
Ugh,
But it just kind of gets caught up in
I know.
this spot.
I don't suppose anybody can go in and get it once it gets there in there, you know?
Yeah,
Oh, you could go in with them.
there's the turtles in the
Airboat or
pond.
something?
We just got done at the garden. Now we're going on the boat tour soon.
The
And
bag.
we're going out on the boat
You
trip.
sit over on this side of the boat and that'll level the boat up. When I get on the boat, it all just over on this side. Yeah, perfect. I hate to tell you, you have the worst driver also, me. I bend the rules and I stretch the rules.
Nice.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dan, by the way. I'll be your skipper and your announcer for the tour. And we're currently on Lake Osceola. Now, Lake Osceola is named after a famous Seminole Indian warrior. In fact, the Seminole Indians used to spend their winters right along the shoreline of these lakes. Now, the lakes are freshwater lakes. They're nice and fresh. We just changed it this morning. However, most of the water comes from the runoff from the surrounding real estate whenever it rains. Now, I have a lot of good fishing in the lakes here. We have catfish and bass, just to name a couple. However, I'm leaving all the snakes and alligators to be discovered by this young gentleman in the front seat here. They like coming over that railing in the front, and I really like it when I have somebody nice and tender in the front seat there, yes. Never sit in the front seat of a tour boat. They pick on you on the whole trip. Sir, I thought you were going to beat me up. That's why I didn't mean to sit you in the back there. This is the Alfred Pulaski Sculpture Museum of Fine Art. This is open every day except Monday. Mr. Pulaski came from Czechoslovakia back in 1901 when he was 22 years old, and he accomplished over 400 pieces of artwork that is scattered throughout the world. Here's some of the great examples in the backyard. That's the Chafin Estate on my right, donated to the Plastic Museum. A historical estate was moved to this location one half at a time on a barge. Looks like they got it pretty well nailed together. Well, we're seeing the sandy beach on my right. This used to be the Sinclair automobile oil manufacturer's winter home. Sinclair was brought out in the mid-70s by the British Petroleum, the BP stations, and they still maintain the green dinosaur logo. And here we are, we're going to enter into the Fern Canal. Fern Canal is about 1/8 of a mile long. It's around 3 or 4 feet deep. Now these canals were originally dug back in the late 1880s for a logging effort
There's a
here in
baby
Winter
turtle
Park.
back there.
The logging effort was concluded in the early 1900s, and the city of Winter Park now maintains the lakes and the canals, presenting the Fern Canal.
got to be real careful with these guys with kayaks or paddle boards. They got that long stick in their hand with a paddle on the end of them, smack down the side of the face and hurt. They had that thing
Do where that baby turtle plant. It's over here somewhere. Cypress knees.
Thank you. You have a great day out there.
Just heading the Fern Canal. Now, to my right here is some bamboo. That's Calcutta bamboo. Good fishing poles. And again, on my right, please enjoy the 150-year-old live oak tree there. And over on the left, that's a 90-year-old loblolly pine tree. That was the size of logs that they would float down the canal during the logging days. Now, in front of us is a reason why we don't have tops on our boats. We wouldn't have them on very long. In fact, at high water, we actually have to bend over to keep our heads from hitting the bridge. We're at high water here, folks, so please be mindful. Us boat drivers refer to the pipes underneath Osceola Avenue as Osceola's Revenge. They'll scalp you in a heartbeat, and boy, does that hurt. Low bridge.
Smart kid. Yeah. Straight in the head.
How deep is the canal?
It's about 3 or 4 feet.
Now there's a live oak branch over the canal, and on the top surface of the live oak branch is a plant that's called resurrection fern. Dies back lack of water, rain, and this whole tree is a lush green. More Calcutta bamboo on the left. Approaching on my left, this is probably the only alligator we see on the tour, hiding in amongst the border grass there, all cast in stone, all mean looking there. Here we are approaching Lake Virginia. Lake Virginia is 223 acres in size. Lake Osceola is smaller at 158 acres. All of these lakes are around 30 feet deep at the deepest point, with an average depth of 11 feet. To my far right, in the center of Rollins College, is the Knowles Chapel, and we'll have a closer look at the Knowles Chapel as we hang around Lake Virginia. Approaching on my left is an entranceway yet to another canal that goes over to Lake Mizell. Lake Mizell is one of the smaller lakes, it's only 58 acres in size. Momentarily we see Lake Mizell underneath the Genius Drive Bridge. That's Lake Mizell, pretty little. The estate to my left was originally built by the Winter Park Men's Club for Rollins College. As a music conservatorium, but it was such a distance for the students to commute back and forth that Rollins College sold that has evolved in the great estate we see now. Just recently, the current owner is tripling the size of the estate. What a project. The property on my left is the beginning of 194 acres that Dr. Genius purchased at the turn of last century for $2.50 an acre. Wow. Not too long ago, the Genius Foundation released 150 acres to build home sites on, and some of this property is going to sell in excess of $2 million an acre. What an inflation factor. Now, Mrs. McCain was a granddaughter of Dr. Morris, and she married Dr. Genius. They later formed the Morris Museum up on Park Avenue, where you can see one of the world's leading examples of Tiffany cutware there. Several years ago, the museum spent $2 million on a Tiffany stained glass window collection. Now, the estates out across the lake from us here, for the most part, were built back in the late 1920s, costing around $24,000, which was a lot of money in that day and time. The homes are a lot smaller, mostly for winter occupancy. They have evolved in the full year-round estates of today, and they range in value now anywhere from $500,000 to several millions of dollars. A good boathouse today sells for anywhere between $40,000 and $50,000. So you can't even buy a boathouse today for what you bought the home property and boathouse for back in the good old days. Now, Rollins College to my right here, 70 acres of campus, was founded back in 1885, and it's the first college in the state of Florida. It has evolved to number 5 in the United States, number 1 in the southeastern part of the United States in the humanity and liberal arts disciplines. They also teach theatrical arts and various business science-related courses here as well. Now, the annual tuition here at Rollins College is around $64,000 a year, which pays for everything. Back in 1885, the annual tuition was $28. Of a freshman class of 520 students, they had over 4,000 applicants. So Rollins College can be very selective as to the scholastic standing of the students that attend here. 98% of the professors at Rollins College hold their PhD, and the average class size is 12 students to one professor. So you get kind of a personalized education here at Rollins. The way I look at it, back in my day and time with classes that size, I couldn't get away with nothing. They'd have my name, number, and location of my mom and dad. Believe you me, I needed that, I'll tell you. Troublemaker Daniel here. About a young man in the front seat. Are you still a troublemaker? We got an honest troublemaker. Oh, we don't know. He's not a troublemaker. Good. I still am today. God, that could have a lot of people crazy. The building with the sharp-pointed roof, that's the Olin Library for Rollins College. They have over 250,000 volumes in this library. The original library started with just 2 books, the Holy Bible and the dictionary. The seawall is the back edge of the Olympic-sized swimming pool for the students. The building to the front of the pool has the Student Union cafeteria, often referred to as the Beanery. Now, there's a 5-story building behind the cypress trees in front of us. That's McCain Hall, one of the dorms for the students. Some of the students that graduate from Rollins College are quite successful. One of these students graciously donated several $100,000 for the boathouse facility approaching on my left, the Alfonso Boathouse. Right behind the Alfonso Boathouse is a greenhouse there, which also serves as a butterfly hatchery. Now, those with cameras that would like a nice picture of the Knowles Chapel, that'll be coming into view in the opening of the trees there, where you see those canoes. The best view of the chapel is actually over the roof of the boathouse when we go around those 2 great big cypress trees there. And I'll slow the boat down to this. On my right. The architect of that chapel is also the architect of the chapel at the West Point Military Academy. Mr. Cram. You see a lot more structure of the chapel here in just a moment. And there it is now. The red tiled roof building behind the boathouse, this is part of the Cornell Museum of Fine Art. This is open every day except Monday, and it's the leading collegiate art museum in the country. They have around 6,000 pieces of artwork on display in there, various shapes, size, and form. Recently, this museum has been doubled in size. Back in the old days when they first invented the pocket watch, they used a really fancy key to wind these devices up with. They have a collection of those in there. They even have Napoleon Bonaparte's key. They don't have his watch, but they got his winder. That's the gymnasium for Rollins College to my left. Rollins does very well for a college its size in the sports arena, especially the water sports with all this great lake water to practice on. The beach to my left is Virginia Beach. It's a public beach. It's open every day and it's free of charge. Now this used to be the location of the sawmill during the logging days. They had a narrow gauge railroad that would haul the lumber away, the Dinky Line, hence the dock to my left. Pick up the name, the Dinky Dock. That's Dinky Dock Park up behind with full facilities. Here's an access area where the general public can launch their private boats for a nominal charge. 5-story building to my left used to be the Sutton Apartments. It's now a dorm. My heart goes out to those students who are right next door behind the trees. There's a rather new location of the college president. I can't believe they'd have a college president living next door to a dorm. Those kids won't have a chance. This 7-story building to my left used to be the Virginia Apartments. These have now been converted into condos. And here we are, we're going to re-enter back into the Fern Canal to go back over Lake Osceola and on to Lake Bateman. The debris that we're seeing in the trees here is called Spanish moss. Now that's an air plant, not a parasite plant. Does not hurt the tree at all. But boy, is it loaded with eggs, larvae, red bugs. Back in the old days, they used to stuff mattresses and automobile upholstery with this stuff. And you know the story. Don't let the bed bugs bite? That's where it came from. Ford Motor Company had one of their first recalls to remove the Spanish moss and replace it with cotton. You get bed bug bites in your car in the good old days. Ford had a neat thing about their vehicles then. Are you itching to buy a Ford? Now the plant at water's edge on my right is called Egyptian papyrus. There's a white heron right in the middle of it. Back in the Bible days, Egyptians made paper out of that. They still do today. The roots of that plant were used to make the little basket that baby Moses was released down the Nile River in. Egyptian papyrus. Presenting the Fern Canal. Well, I seen a tack frog over here hiding amongst the elephant ears. Folks, it's not alive. I was told the other day it croaked. Oh boy. Calcutta bamboo on the right. Resurrection fern on the upper surface of the live oak tree here. Please be mindful, low bridge, headers hurt. Came all the way to Winter Park, Florida on a boat ride to find that out. Low bridge. And again, please enjoy the 150-year-old live oak tree. Notice the resurrection fern and the Spanish moss. This white delicate flower over here on my right, these are called ligustrum. Ligustrum. Loblolly pine tree on the right. Calcutta bamboo on the left. Now this is timber bamboo on my left. That grows about 11 inches a month. Very fast growing timber bamboo. Cypress knees on my right. And here we are back out. Oh, there's a ibis there. If you notice, for the most part, the boats are picked up out of the water. This is necessary because the cypress trees emit a tannic acid that will very slowly etch and stain the hull of the boats. So if you're not planning on using your boat for the day, it's a good idea to pick them up out of the water. The dark brown estate to my right used to be the winter home of Mr. Walgreens, or the Walgreens drugstore chain. It's a private home now. Next door, I've been told, that's CVS's winter home. Where they build their drugstores next door to each other, think they ought to live next door. I don't think that's the case. Well, we see the His and Hers boathouse on my right. This is part of the Brewer estate. Now, Mr. Brewer would come down from Cortland, New York, to buy lumber for his horse, wagon, and buggy business there. Fell in love with the Florida winters. Tried to get his lovely wife to come down. She wouldn't have any part of leaving her beautiful estate there. Mr. Brewer got the plans out, made an exact copy. There it is, 23 rooms, and yes, Mrs. Brewer did come down to enjoy the Florida winters. Now the estate up in Cortland, New York, I'm sad to say, no longer in existence. It was last used as a fraternity house there. It did not fare as well. Well, we're seeing these two really nice birdhouses on my right. These folks raise border collie dogs there. Oh, I see one in the backyard. Oh, there's a couple of them there. These dogs are so intelligent. They can be trained as seeing eye dogs. Plus, they do very well in the sheep herding industry in Great Britain. The television program, Animal Planet, Dogs 101, rate the border collie dogs as tops on the list for intelligence. The estate on my right features a sub-basement. See the windows at ground level indicating this. Again, a rarity here in Florida. The estate on the point was designed by the architect to where all rooms should have a view of the lake. The new owners came in, they added the workshop in the back, enlarged the windows in the front, and this nice sandy beach. The sand on these lakes are darker brown. You see something different like this, has to be trucked in and examined very carefully for anything that may pollute or contaminate the lakes. My far right, the lake makes a cove there, and that's referred to as Alligator Cove. Not too long ago, all 6 lakes alligators used to meet in that area in the springtime in the mating season. This is very alarming for folks with small children and pets. So they got the Commissioner of Wildlife Services in there. They removed 150 gators, relocated them into the South Florida Everglades. I had a young lady on board from South Florida. On hearing that announcement, her comment to me was, "Thank you very much." That's all they need is another 150 alligators to deal with there. I don't blame her one bit. Now, we still have alligators in the lakes, but there's a tremendous amount of wildlife in the lakes. The gators are somewhat content, plus the folks around the lakes do very well in obeying the law not to feed the gators, so they stay recluse. And here we are, we're going to enter into the Venetian Canal, 7/10 of a mile long, and it's a very crooked canal. And it's going to be my challenge to try to drive through here without bumping the boat. Now the reason these canals are so crooked is these lakes have always been connected by swamps. So back in the 1880s, they didn't have the nice equipment they do nowadays. They just simply dug out the deepest part of the swamp that drained the swamp, gave them a crooked canal. Now the lady of the household on the right side of the canal is an avid gardener. This is her hobby. She maintains that estate with very little outside help. She fixed up the landscaping on her side of the canal long before the canal crews could do it for her, when 14 years ago they replaced a 100-year-old cypress lumber walls with steel. They did a great job presenting the Venetian Canal. Now approaching on the left is a purple leaf plant there, and these are called Hawaiian pines. Hawaiian pines. Now the bridge in front of us is the Palmer Avenue Bridge, and folks, occasionally I get very close to the right and left side of this bridge. So if you're sitting along the side of the boat, you may find it necessary to lean in towards the center of the boat. Remember, headers hurt. Please be mindful. You see where I hit my head earlier on the right, almost ruined the bridge. Hand-me-downs right here, don't startle you. Now those are cameras that would like a nice picture of the Knowles Chapel, excuse me, the nice picture of the canal that's coming up here, around the bend. Here's your view now. Now approaching on the left is a white leaf-like flower there. These are called peace lilies. Peace lilies on the left.
Passing by.
Folks, thank you so much. You're very patient. I didn't see anybody behind me, so you got a straight shot. Thanks so much for pulling over.
Look at this pool and where the water comes out of the side.
Oh, it's awesome.
Split leaf philodendrons on my left. Friend or lover of trees in Greek. Philodendron. Well, here we are on Lake Maitland. This is the largest of the 6 lakes, 450 acres in size, 30 feet deep at the deepest point. At the far end of Lake Maitland, they have a dam that controls the level of the water of these lakes, and this water will eventually end up in the Atlantic Ocean via Jacksonville, Florida. Quite a trip ahead of itself. Again, Lake Maitland. The park on my right is a 17-acre public park, the Kraft Azalea Park. Mrs. Kraft loved the azaleas dearly. See the azalea bushes under the trees there. These come into bloom around mid-February for a month or so, and they have a number of outdoor weddings at this park. Heartwarming event to witness. Often during the ceremony, the bride and groom will turn around and wave to the tour boats as we motor by. It really makes our day. The monument to my right was built by the descendants of the Kraft family, honoring their mother and father. It's a favorite spot for the outdoor weddings. Now, it's very easy to associate the Kraft name to the Kraft paper products or the Kraft food products, but it's actually the Kraft newspaper family who went apart, originally owned this 17 acres. Now, approaching on my right is Alabama Drive. Starts off at the Palmer Avenue Bridge we tucked underneath, makes a 2-mile loop. Then Alabama Drive reconnects back to Palmer Avenue around the corner there. Coming into view on my right behind the trees here is the old Alabama Hotel complex, built in the early 20s. A lot of history there. For one of the final chapters of Margaret Mitchum's novel, Gone with the Wind, was written here. These have now been converted into condos. Every once in a while, folks will buy an estate, tear it down, and then fill the lot up with their own design. As it went on in front of us, a red tiled roof estate there. Took them a year and a half to build that. Completed a couple of years ago. An exceptionally large estate there with really high ceilings. Now we have 3 estates of note swinging in front of us. Starting with the new construction there in front of us. To the right of that new construction, the next 2 estates are brand new. They had one estate on these 3 lots. They tore it down, subdivided the land up, an original 3 lots. There they are working on the last estate there. The estate in the center there features a walkout basement. That's a rarity in Florida, let alone on the lakes here. Now, approaching on my right, a nice example of Venetian-style architecture there. Tom Hanks did an HBO movie production there called Earth to the Moon, a mini TV series about the early at that estate. This home was shown for only 44 seconds, so you can see why they have such large movie budgets. Mr. Hanks is a patient producer. He would be filming in the backyard. Here comes a scenic boat tour ruining the shot. He never once complained. Now, the original owner of that estate was an engineer that went to Venice, Italy, to study the technology of building structures on the water, and he applied it to that estate. Originally, the lake came up next to the estate. However, he repeatedly caught his grandchildren diving out the windows into the lake. And now you see the grass bank there. That took care of diving out the windows into the lake trick. The little bridge on my right, that's the only land access to the Isle of Sicily. This used to be a swamp, and the city of Winter Park put sandbags around the swamp They dredged up Lake Maitland, filled it in nice, and 11 really nice estates were built here. The reason this is called the Isle of Sicily is because the dredging vessel used to create this property was called the Isle of Sicily, so the property took on the name of the vessel that created it. Nice example of cypress trees out here in the water. Cypress trees don't particularly like the water, but they tolerate it. Excellent underwater lumber from trees like this. Dog Island to my far right, kind of a wildlife refuge there. Cypress tree on my right, that's the only cypress tree I'm aware of that grows its own Christmas ornaments. Comes in bloom nice that time of the year. The peninsula in front of us here used to be all under orange groves and originally belonged to Mr. Archibald Bush. Mr. Archibald Bush started off as a bookkeeper for the Scotch Tape 3M Company, and he knew how to invest money. When he retired from the 3M Company, he retired as its owner. When he passed away in his 60s, he amassed a fortune of over $600 million. A good portion of that went to the charities and arts. Now the original Bush estate is to the right of that boathouse. That's behind the trees there. The Bushes love to entertain. Their dining room is served 22 people. However, that's only a 2-bedroom estate. So come and have a great time, but don't stay over, yes. Directly in front of us is one of the larger estates, quite proud contemporary architecture there, 23,000 square feet of living there. Berkeley Center there, the basis of that estate. The owner of that estate was Horace Grant, one of the past players for the Orlando Magic basketball team. On those jet skis there, and pull up alongside of us and have a little chat. And I tip my hat to his congeniality. A terrific individual I've heard living in Santa Barbara, California. Within that estate is a half-court basketball court, one of living room. Approaching on my right is an estate with a full-length upstairs walkout porch. Colonel Bob Scott of the World War II Tiger fighter pilot age resided there. Wrote several novels. One of them is autobiography. God is my co-pilot. A couple of movies made of this. And here we are. We're going to re-enter back into the Venetian Canal to complete the circuit of Lake Osceola. Often asked the question, what do we do when we meet boats in the canal? Courtesy being rule 1. For at the entranceway of the canals, we back out, of course. In the canals, boats are somewhat streamlined in nature. They can nestle into the entranceway. Some of the boathouses, we very carefully go around. The 2-story boathouse on the left side of the canal, that's the Rollins College Bradley Boathouse. This is where they keep the long rowing crew boats like you see in the Olympics. Rollins does very well in this competition. Coach Bradley is one of the first crew coaches here at Rollins, presenting the Venetian Canal. Split-leaf philodendrons on my right, friend or lover of trees in Greek. Philodendron, split-leaf. Elephant ears on my right. Ginger buds over on the left, the orange buds there. Nice view of the canal coming up as we round the bend here.
Sunken boat.
Peace lilies over on my right here. And again, the Palmer Avenue Bridge, folks. Please be mindful on the right and left sides. Headers hurt. Hawaiian ties on my right. Purple leaf plant there. Look carefully on the right. You see some little white flowers there. These are Confederate jasmine. Confederate jasmine. Here we are back out on Lake Osceola. Now, Mr. Rogers of the children's TV program, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, graduated from Rollins College, and while attending Rollins College, he lived here in the brick estate with a green ivy on it coming into view. So we're seeing a for real Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood of long ago. Now approaching on my right, the red tiled roof boathouse there. This is part of the Nelson estate. Mr. Nelson was into real estate and lumber during the logging days. They had two daughters that graduated from Rollins College. Mrs. Nelson loved roses. She maintained a really nice rose garden to the left of the estate there. She lived to be 94 years old. Now when she passed away, she left Rollins College $10 million, plus that beautiful estate to be sold. Now money to be combined and used for the tuition assistance for the less affluent at Rollins College. What a legacy. Now the ladies of the Winter Park Garden Club affectionately named the Nelson and Rose in honor of the family used to live there. And outside the college president's office at Rollins College, they maintain a Nelson Rose garden there commemorating that family. Now the boathouse approaching on my right, this is all that's left of the old Seminole Hotel. They used to occupy the grounds here. The hotel was built like that boathouse. It was somewhat of a fire trap. So they tore the hotel down. The land became available. And these really nice estates were built here. The new construction going on behind the boathouse there. They've been working on that for about 11 months now. That lot has been vacant since day one. It's got an exceptionally small front yard, but hey, check out that backyard. Magnolia tree on my right. You see some little white blossoms there in the tree. Next door to this estate is an estate with a black and white window awnings on it. Had a proud family member residing there. Graduated from college several years ago. While he was attending high school, he would go to Canada and participate in a world championship whistling competition there. Came back with first place 3 years in a row. So he had a world-class whistler residing there, and whenever his college studies permitted, he would go on international tours. Understand he's performed in Carnegie Hall in New York. Example of Scandinavian architecture on my right. In fact, the original owner of Scan Design Furniture lived there. True credit to his product. The estate behind the trees there with the dark town roof there. This used to be the location of Casa de Feliz, House of Happiness. Sold several years ago. The new owners elected to tear it down. The city of Winter Park got permission to move Casa de Feliz across the street and around the corner on the golf course. A lot of history associated with the estate, right down to the building materials, moved with private donations. Speaking of moving, it's the pathway on my right, where they roll the Chafin estate down, one half at a time, get it up on the barge, and take it over the Plastic Museum we saw earlier in the tour. Approaching on my right, that estate used to be the Diocese of Episcopal Church. The bishop lived there for 10 years. He's now since relocated in Orlando. It's a private home as we see now. Rumor has it, you know how rumors are, the bishop could not stand his next door neighbor right there. Don't blame the awful toilet in that little yellow estate. I'm very proud of that, and I'm a mess, I know. Don't blame the bishop at all. I have to be very careful what I say about my yellow estate. We're in the boathouse there. They used to keep the police patrol boats there. So I'll tell the truth now. There's actually a pump house back there where they siphon the water from the lakes to water the lawns up and behind. Where we see the gazebo on my right, this is one time the Rollins College residential estate. It's a private home now. Next door, that pavilion belongs to the United Methodist Church of Winter Park. They enjoy their Easter sunrise services here and outdoor weddings. Momentarily, you see the sanctuary behind the cross. And here's the sanctuary now. Nice example of Art Deco architecture on my right. Whispering Water condos. Art Deco architecture was very popular in the 1930s. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the tour, and I certainly enjoyed having you on board. I hope you have a great stay and a safe journey home. God bless you all, and thank you so much. And one final note I'd like to add, if we all could remain seated until we get the boat tied up, because I do bounce around a little bit, Hate to have you lose your footing. Remember, headers hurt. Thanks again, folks.
Sorry about how long that clip was. I just felt it important to record every second of it. So it was a really cool boat ride. Okay, so that's the end of the video for today. Tomorrow I'm going to the Kennedy Space Center, so I may or may not be doing a video, I'm not sure. But yeah, if I don't have time to do, or if I can't do a video there, I'll do an Earn to Die video later. And then the day after that I'm going on a zipline tour, so of course I can't videotape that on the safe. So yeah, that's the end of the video for today. Subscribe to my channel, become a Vipercraft 44. Yeah, so see you guys later. Bye.